Hi everybody. I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't go back to sleep, so I thought I would do some crafting. And while I was doing my crafting, I thought I would do a video and share my process. So what I'm doing is I'm making bird ornaments from paper towel rolls and toilet paper rolls. This is from a paper towel roll. And so what you want to do, and demonstrate how I make these, is you want to cut it to the size that you want if you're using a paper towel. If not, toilet paper roll is just perfect size. And then you're going to want to place it on the table. Pinch one side. Then you're going to pinch in another direction like this. And you're going to hot glue and do some other really cool things. So let me just tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need a liner for your surface first, because the hot glue gun is just good to have. Hot glue gun and all the mess that makes on your surface makes it easier for cleanup and protecting your surface too. Okay, then what you're going to need is a hot glue gun and some glue stick, scissors, of course your rolls, and craft paint. I'm using just white because that's my look. That's how I like my birds to look. But you can paint it any color that you want. So from my experience, I'm going to share with you how I do it, okay? And then get yourself some form of glitter that you like, whether it's loose and you're going to be using an adhesive with loose glitter, or some glitter glue like what I've got here. You're also going to need some twine, some kind of a string, or to attach your ornament. What I'm going to be hanging this on will be my Christmas tree this year, as well as another branch kind of a ornamentation in my living room. Let's see what else. Oh, you are going to need, I'm going to be using a Sharpie pen and a pencil and brushes to make the little hole, which I will not be demonstrating today because I don't have a tool near me because I forgot. But something to make a little hole, which I believe I used a little X-Acto knife and just gently pierced it, or I used the needle. I can't remember. But anyway, make a hole so that you can thread your thread or twine or whatever you're going to use to hang it. Let me see what else. I think that's it. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so place. First of all, if you're using a toilet paper towel roll, cut it to the size that you want your ornament, okay? Let me just show you that I've pre-made some already that I need to paint. I've made small size of this, small size birds, and bigger birds. These look kind of the same, but they're not. See, this one's smaller, and this one's a little bigger, okay? The first thing you're going to want to do is put your roll down on your surface. Make sure your hot glue gun is heated up, and then not on the edge, but inside of the edge, put a bead of glue on one side, and then pinch it, fold it, and hold it to adhere it. And you can feel, right? If you've worked with hot glue gun, you know what the feel would be like when it's ready to, release it. But those who are brand new to using hot glue gun, you're gonna feel a warmth, and then you're gonna feel it cooling off. Keep in mind that the hot glue gun first of all is very hot. The tip of it is really hot, and the glue is really hot, so be careful. Okay, Then on the other end, what you're going to do is, see how it's flat this way? Now you're going to pinch. Okay, pinch it like this. And you're not going to hot glue gun it just yet. Okay? What you are going to do is just set this aside and let it just cure just a little bit longer. Okay, so the next step you're going to make is you're going to create the beak. This is the fun part. So the way you're going to create the beak is you're going to create roundness, because this is going to be the head of the bird. This is the tail. One end is the tail, one end is the head. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to create roundness, just a little roundness, right? A little elliptical, okay? A little moon shaped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim the corner, so making it round like this. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the top. Just like that. And there's a little square edge here, so I'm just wanting to make it more rounder. Just trim it off a little bit. And I want to make sure you have like a little trash receptacle on the side here. Okay. Now, these two things that you cut off are going to be the beak. So what I do is put a little bead of glue right inside, place it down, and just pinch it, fold it, okay, to create a beak. And since there's two, and I want to see which is the best beak that I want, I'm going to do it to both of them, okay. Get those loose threads of glue off. Okay, now what you want to do is don't glue it just yet. Just place it in there and play with what is your, how do you want your bird to look? Do you want your beak going up like this? Do you want it pointed more straight like that? You can even turn it around the opposite way and place it like that. Do you like it turned down a little bit? It's all up to you. It's all up to your creativity. I like to mix it up, the different ways that I fix it. So just for difference, I think I'm going to keep it like that. Oh, another thing, try the other piece and see, do you like that better? Oh, see, that's cute. I always like it when it goes up like that. I think that's cute, but let me turn it around and see. Oh, that's cute too. Okay, I'm not sure which one because they're both super cute, but I think I'll go with the longer one and do it like that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, inside here on one side, I'm gonna put just a little bead, and then I'm gonna just place the beak inside and hold it on there just for a few seconds. Okay, there you go. Now what I'm going to do is put a bead inside the edge, not on the edge, but inside from the edge, all over, only on one side. Okay, then I'm going to pinch it. Guys, you cannot get this wrong. This is such a fun project to make, and nature is not perfect. It's perfect in its own way, in God's own eyes. Like, we are perfectly made in God's image. So is nature. So please know, one reason why I love to do this is, first of all, I love birds. I got a lot of birds that come around. I live in a natural reserve, and so there's lots of bird life happening around me. I have a bird feeder outside in trees, and I watch the birds every day. And so this is my interpretation of a bird, right? It's art, and it's my artist signature, how I make these. And you're going to come up with your own too, but I'm just demonstrating how I like to do it. And maybe you decide that you want to do it this way or some form of it. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to put this on the side and let it cure. And what I'm going to do one more time, I already put a beak in this one, but I'm going to show you one more time how to place the hot glue gun. So not on the very edge, but just inside. I would say like, I don't know, maybe an 1/8 of an inch inside. It's not exact, see? Like I said, you can't get this wrong. You just can't. And besides, if you've been following me and watching my videos, you know I don't like to use the word wrong when it comes to art. I know some other artists do. I do not. There's no mistakes. And I don't want to quote him, but I guess I will, because he's one of my favorite art teachers and artists, and Bob Ross, who one of his lines is, there's only happy endings, happy mistakes, happy discoveries. I don't remember, but anyway, it's just, there's no mistakes. And that has been a process for me to navigate since I've been creating. But, so, there it is. There's another bird. Okay, this one's a little smaller. This one's a little bigger. See the size difference? You can make it any size you want. And see how the beak is? Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna create the feathers and the eyes on this, okay? You can use a pencil. I'm gonna demonstrate with a pencil how I do this, okay? This is my inspiration. This is the way I do my eyes, okay? I'm gonna show you. So on one side, I'm just gonna make my eye, and I tend to make my eyes big and make it look more like fashionette, more to be like people's eyes, like more human eyes and bird eyes. That's just how I like to do mine. Then I'm gonna draw one side. So you just a rough draw. And then so to do the other side, what I do is take a look, turn this so that the head of the bird is facing me, facing you, so that you get an idea of where the placement will be. So just make a little line like how I did right here, right? Just to give me a guide as far as how I'm going to do this. So there it is. And so what I'm doing now is drawing so that there's symmetry, somewhat symmetry, but I'm not getting crazy about it. It's not going to be exact, okay? It's just an idea, just a guide, okay? So there's one side, and there's another side, okay? Now what I'm going to do is draw the wings. And as you can tell by my ornament that I made here, is that my wing, see my wing? That's how I make my wing. And on that side, that's how I make my wing. Okay, so let me show you how I do that. Let me just say this. When I make this project, I usually have a whole bunch that's already made. So I've already got a few of these made, okay? See this one right here? I decided to do a frayed edge. You could do that too, just make little cuts before you glue. So when it's in this form, that's when you're gonna go ahead and all you're gonna do is take your scissors and just make little cuts. do it, I don't just make it even. I kind of make it uneven because I think about my birds, the older birds that I see, and how afraid they look in their older years. I get a little emotional because, you know, part of life, right? The circle of life. And how we all get, in our own lives, you know, as we get older, it's like we don't have the smooth skin that we once had. Our skins get wrinkly, crepey. We have dark circles under our eyes. We have spotting. We move slower. It's just part of life, of the human experience. So there it is. See how you make little cuts like that? And then you glue it, and then you could be like, make it like that. Okay? I'm going to show you something else too. Another way you could make the edges is you could make it really wild like this. Like, see this bird? This bird has been through some stuff in life. And the way that you do that is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to create on an angle. See how I'm cutting it like that? And what I'm going to do is not make it all uniform, but you see? There it is. That's how you can make it. Okay? And all you're going to do now is you're going to hot glue gun that. Okay? Alright. So, at this stage, what I would do is make, you know, glue them all together, get your form, and then start creating the look. So, I'm going to move this on this side. And just continue working on the one that I demonstrated. So now what I'm going to do is create the feather, okay? And let's see. So I think about how I want my feather to look. And it's very rough. So, and now what I'm going to do, since I made one side with my pencil, I'm going to turn it so that the tail is facing me, so that I can know where do I begin drawing the other one, the other side. So I just make a mark and I just start creating feathers on this side. Okay? Okay. Now that I have both sides drawn, the eye and the feather, okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my Sharpie pen. I am using a Sharpie. You can use whatever you want, whatever marker you want. And I'm just going to go ahead and trace over once again, not getting into the place of perfection. And what I like to do is do several lines for the eyes. And making circle. And then putting some eyelashes on mine, since I like that. That's what I like. And you can do yours any way you want. There's the eye on one side. And I'm going to do it on the other side. I really, really enjoy doing, creating eyes and faces on people. And it is quite a process for me to create faces on people. So there's the other eye. I'm going to work on the wing, and I'm just going to trace over approximately where I put my wings. Show you how I do it, how mine's look. And I like, you know, like I said, my look is rough. It's a little frayed, but that's how I like my birds to look. There's my wing. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other side. So I'm gonna point this towards me now, and I'm gonna make sure that when I'm tracing it over that I, you know, get it somewhat symmetrical, but I am not getting crazy about that, okay? I'm just basically using it as a guide. Okay, and going over it a few times. Yeah, okay. So there's my wings. My other wing. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is, now it's time to paint. And what I'm gonna be doing is using my craft paint. I open the lid, and you can drum up some in a container. Right there is what I'm working from. I'm going to be using a brush. This is a flat brush, and I'm using a bigger flat brush because I want this to go fast, okay? For this demonstration, you use whatever you want. You can use a round or an angle, whatever you have. And I'm using a craft brush. Okay, so here we go. The way that I want to do this is I want to just loosely paint around the eye and thinking about how feathers look, right? It has like this kind of, you know, how feathers kind of look. So I'm making kind of like that kind of a marking. But not being exact because, you know, it's supposed to be fun. And try to not use a heavy concentration of paint unless that's what you want. I'm showing you how I like to do, how I like to paint. And so I like the brown paper from the roll to show through. So I'm not going to be painting it entirely. I'm going to be just painting it in a way where the brown paper shows through, the cardboard shows through. That's how I like it. When I make these ornaments, I'm thinking about my birds. The sun's coming up soon, and soon I'll be able to see the birds in my yard as they feed. I'm looking at my bird and seeing how I did. Okay. show you. There it is. Okay, that's good. One thing I have to tell you when it comes to brushes and paint, make sure, because you're working with acrylics, stick that in water because that's going to dry hard. And I have a vessel here, so I'm just going to stick this right in my vessel of water. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry before I go to the next step, okay? In the meantime, you want to get your glitter ready. And so I'm going to use this product, and I saw it in the store, and I'm like, I've used similar before, but I believe I got this at a dollar store too. So these days it's $1.25 plus. So, and so then I'm just gonna grab some of this and paint some of this on, just in some spots. No rhyme or reason, just getting it on there. And this is probably going to give my bird a little greenish hue from the glue. But that's okay. It's actually making me think about one of the birds that I've been seeing and flying around has this kind of yellowy greenish hue to it, depending on how the light reflects. So this one, I know I use glue and glitter, loose glitter, but try something different for this one. So there is no form or pattern. You can make a pattern if you want on your bird. That would be really cool. But for me and the way I'm doing it, I'm not. I'm just getting it on there. Okay, there we are. That was easy and harmless. I know that this comes in different colors. This is the one that was available at the dollar store, so that's the one I picked up. But I have a ton of glitter, and I may decide to make them all like this. No, I'm not going to make them all like this. I'm going to make some of them like this, and then I'm going to use loose glitter and glue on the other ones of different colors. So there it is. The last thing that I want to share with you is, and I'm going to be real careful. Typically I would leave this to dry, but what I'm going to do is show you with a Sharpie. I'm going to do it on, because the one that I'm working on, this one here, is still wet with paint and also glitter, and I don't want to ruin my pen. So I'm going to show you with this how I'm going to create this. You could put a defining line here for the beak. I I like that touch. So all that I do, I'm going to show you on here, but it's really better to do it on the finished product as the last step before you string it. Okay. So I'm just demonstrating on here. So what you want to do is figure out how you want your beak to have some definition. And I'm going to place it down and just kind of show you how I do it. I'm just making like a V or an L shaped. Right there, like that, on that side and that side. Okay, and this is the way I like to do it. This is a craft that I enjoy doing for this holiday season. Another thing that I would like to do, you see the tail? I put some black marks, lines here. Gonna wait till this dries completely before I do that. But the way that I do that is really simple. All that I do, no rhyme, no reason, just like that. And I will do it on both sides. Okay, that's it, guys. After it's done drying, I'm gonna put 2 holes and string some thread on here. I used a few, I didn't use one, I used a few threads to give it some strength. So there it is. There's the bird. This is the one that we made together. It's super cute. And I'm really excited about putting this on top of my tree. So I want to thank you for watching. And I also want to say, it's the holiday season in my house, time of year. And I want to wish you all a very beautiful holiday. In my house, we celebrate Christmas. And but whatever holiday you celebrate, may your home be filled with peace, joy, and love with people you love and love you. So, thanks for watching. Until next time, ahuyo. Bye.